welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's. This is our Broiler Chicken Show. Back. Anyway, fun to see all the funny little chicken memes and stuff like that in the lounge. A fun thing to look forward to every Sunday morning. How many different ways can we meme about the Broiler Chicken Show? When I see you guys posting that, it means, all right, I better get my act together and get going. Anyway, let's see. I saw a funny one here this morning that made me laugh. I think Eddie posted it. There it is. So this is the meme du jour from Eddie. Hey, there's Brian. Yeah, that looks like about Brian's body. Never been known to be all that felt, but anyway. So, happy Broiler Chicken Show to everybody. Welcome back to the Frivolity. FYI to everybody here, because we're coming into this big Black Friday event. I think what I'm gonna do is we'll do the daily briefs and like this Broiler Chicken Show. Of course, Julian already does his free show on Wednesday or Thursdays there on YouTube. I think we'll do all of the daily briefs and stuff public here for the next couple of weeks, just so you can get an idea. If you are relatively new to the channel, what it is we do Monday to Friday. Julian's offering on Thursdays. It's a unique, fresh look at TRI. And actually, we had on one of our site OGs. Actually, he's a student in the level 3 program right now, studying options like a madman. We had him come on the Thursday show with Liam, Julian, close. On Thursday, and actually that was received really well. So big shout out to Cotter there. I think Cotter's over there on the I know he was in the lounge, but I think actually he said he had to go drive to his next business destination. But I'm sure you'll be watching this after the fact. You might even be watching it on the road. Try not to watch it on the road. We used to have a guy on the site, and it used to drive us crazy that he would tune into the daily briefs while in his car. And it's like, keep your eyes on the road, sir. This is not the time and place to be studying price charts. Anyway, so maybe if you want to watch us live, great, pull over to the side of the road. Don't be a menace to the rest of your drivers on the road, especially if I go, holy shit, look at that. Goodness, you're crazy kids. Anyway, we are back into the fun part of the market. Oh my goodness, it's been forever. Now we're finally back into bang it out doubles. And of course, once you get that original double, I always think it's a really good idea to get your original capital back, play with the market's money. In fact, I even put out a cheeky tweet through the week that now technically I'm playing the market with your money. I love playing the market with your money. I don't like playing the market with my money. I want to play the market with your money. So as soon as I can sell half on a double and get myself into that risk-free trade, technically it's not, my money's not at risk anymore in the market. That's the way you play this game. I'll tell you what, by crackers. And then once you do what you do with the market's money, that's up to you. And really, it doesn't even matter. You hold on to the position forever. I mean, technically I still have the Bitcoins that I accumulated back in like 2015, I guess. I think it was about 2015, somewhere in there. I had a whole bunch of people donate Bitcoin actually to the Liam cause. And I haven't touched that at all. And I have no plans whatsoever. In fact, everybody knows what the plan is. As soon as those Bitcoins can buy one house for Liam, then I'm officially done. And I think I might head on over to Hawaii and actually a kind of a fun conversation I had yesterday. We've been kicking around the idea of having sort of a educational retreat, and I've been wondering where I was going to do this in the world. Thought about maybe doing it down the West Coast. And we have our level 4 instructor, Site OG, and all around swell guy, Zach over there in Hawaii, who just keeps doing his real estate deals. And he's kind of like, Brian, are you going to finally get off your butt and come on over here and join us? So I'm warming up to that idea. I'll tell you that much by crackers. So anyway, we'll see how that goes over time. If I do the deal, then it will give us a nice little place to meet up once or twice a year on Brian's tab, and maybe even run like an educational program out of the place. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. That won't really materialize for a couple of years, but nonetheless, I am thinking about. I'm getting warmer to that idea again. And I'll tell you, if crypto does what it does, then I'm more than happy, like I said, to start ringing the register if we can acquire housing for Liam so that he's set for the rest of his life. That was that. You could argue that really JoJo coming to me after she passed and sort of giving me a pep talk, if you will, from the other side. Appreciate it, sweetie. I think about it like literally that conversation every day of my life since then, but you guys already know that. Heartfelt, absolutely most important thing here is we try and make a positive difference in this world in a very, very trying time. This is the absolute worst part of the entire sort of economic, what would you even call it? Sort of lifespan. If there was like a lifespan of an economy, we are in the window right now that is absolutely the most difficult part. And unfortunately, the public is kind of it's encouraged to be ignorant about what's actually really going on, which I find kind of sad. And like I said, I do believe with all my heart and soul that Spirit actually asked me to try and, just try and make a positive difference in this world. And that's my promise to all of you. We do these shows on a fairly regular basis. I mean, I've been doing this every Sunday for, it must be 10 years. I mean, talk about consistency. Wow. If anything, the fact that we're so consistent and so reliable and so dependable, if you do aspire to be a self-manager, take responsibility for your finances, you have to do and be exactly what I'm telling you. And hopefully I'm demonstrating. You have to be consistent as, I mean, you just have to be. And when the market is frothy and toppy and the public not really knowing what they're doing or what they're supposed to do comes in and chases, you have to have the discipline to go, okay, well, fine. I'm going to go around and visit people and, maybe even eat gold-plated steaks. I don't know. I hate spending money. So spending money on a gold-plated steak to me, see it like, it's probably like fucking $1,000 a steak kind of thing. To me, that's a total waste of money as far as I'm concerned. Although the Anunnaki, the story is that they used to eat gold. Turns out that if you actually distill, I don't know whether that's the right word, but if you refine gold down to its absolute basic element, it actually turns into like a white powder. And the Anunnaki used to, the story is that they used to eat gold to maintain immortality. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. Point here is just as consistently as I show up every single Sunday. And Monday to Friday through the site every single day. You hear exactly the same thing out of me every single day. Don't chase, buy against bottom ends of range, sell against top ends of range. When the market affords you the opportunity to get yourself into a risk-free trade, for God's sakes, do it. And don't be too greedy. That's really the hallmark of any kind of trader. I mean, you could probably hear the same sentiment in the day trading pits. Actually, that's probably a good question, because Chris here, I'm so proud of Chris. Chris basically is done everything that I could have possibly hoped for in the education program, and now he's taken himself over to my old prop firm, and he's been funded with them, and he's actually just living the trader's life. What do you think, Chris? Is consistency slightly important in the futures trader's life?
Just a tad.
Chris is reporting in from his cell phone because we did a video recently, and like the power went out in his building, so he's built some redundancy. So if I do ask Chris to chime in and it sounds like he's talking through a tunnel, it's because he's on his cell phone. So just FYI. I probably won't lean on Chris too much here, because of that. But I do like Chris to chime in, because if I was going to sort of model what a typical Joe Sixpack coming to me and saying, Brian, I really need your help. I really need to get myself from here to there. And I really want to get there. What does it look like? We could actually walk through Chris's entire time at TRI from beginning to end, and I think he would be an absolute perfect model. And any of you, I mean, hell, if Chris can do it, any of you can do it. Just kidding. Oh, that was not very nice. Chris and I we drove down the west coast of North America last year. I bet you he'll remember that for the rest of his life. But the question would be, I'll let Chris chime in here just because I love him so much and we want to hear him one more time. What would you prefer, Chris, to drive down the west coast of North America with Brian, or to drive down the west coast of Europe with Josh? Oh, this.
I don't think that the public heard me, but I'll say it one more time. I do not want to drive anywhere with Josh. There you go.
Actually, you're did you hop off the cell phone, because you sound clearer now?
Yeah. I switched to the nice
Oh,
mic.
okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but the point here is just nobody wants to drive with Josh. You know what, Jomo from, I got it. My eyesight's so bad I can't even read that. Holy crap, man. I wonder what it means when your eyesight goes bad. Oh, it means you're getting old. That's what it means. JMO from, what the hell does that say? JSIDE. Wow, there's a name. Why don't you come on the site? Hell, even have a 3 to 30-day trial and ask him himself. I'm sure Chris would be more than happy to chat with you. And keep in mind, Chris is not alone. I mean, hell, we have a whole room of day traders that are all funded at Top Step. It's so funny. I could literally leave TRI, go back over to Top Step, and start a chat room there with just the guys that I all chat with on a daily basis anyway at TRI, because they're all trading for fucking Nebraska. And Hogue and Eddie. Jesus, these guys, I'm making them money and they don't even realize it. I bet. Anyway, so we have an absolute great day trading room. I love waking up first thing in the morning and coming and hopping in with Ed and Adam. You see Adam over there on the YouTube page. And frankly speaking, Adam, I want to get, and I don't know whether it's, I'm thinking it's Liz, but I would absolutely love to get Liz and Jimmy to the point where they participate in the day trader room. Then we know we have officially succeeded at what we were doing. look, there's another person. Oh, JMO from says, I finished the entire program already in on a TRI event. I'm full time with Top Step as of June of this year, but still learning. Yeah, I mean, I'm 35 years into this, JM, and I'm still learning. You will never stop learning, which sucks worse, you know what. But way to go. Congratulations. Then I must know you. I don't know that screen name, but pop on the site and send me a DM. Okay, you deserve a big shout out. I tell you, I would be willing to bet that we probably have a good at least dozen traders over there working at Top Step right now. All thanks to this crazy ass Canuck who for some reason, and I've worked with a bunch of prop firms over the years, and the only reason why I like Top Step so much is because of Hogue and Eddie. Although I haven't talked to Eddie in forever, I think he's kind of avoiding me. But and actually, it's cool whenever I go back over there. Some of the old timers that are still there from when I was trading then, they're like, "Hey, BB, I haven't seen you in forever." Anyway, so. Yeah, the ultimate goal will be definitely to literally go over to Top Step and like half the people there like, hey Brian, how's it going? I missed you, buddy. So super cool to see the progress of the community. TRI's got, and the great part about TRI is that we have so many different avenues. There's a million different ways to skin this cat. I think I started off the conversation here today talking about how crypto is finally in its summer season. And now, just like little old ladies, of course, where you learned the term little old lady will probably dictate how well you do with the strategy going forward. Nanny nibbles and all that kind of fun stuff. But, I mean, we're in this kind of market where actually it's really easy to make money now. All you got to do is just make sure to try and buy against lows, and then when the market pops, boom, make sure to pay yourself. But this is like completely different than things like futures trading. I think probably the most important image that I think all of you need to appreciate, and hopefully I can get to the point. Actually, I don't even know whether I specifically talk about this in the education program, but this is probably the most important image that all of you, if you're aspiring to actually be a trader, be a capitalist, make money from trading, all that kind of fun stuff. This is basic. You could argue this is the history of money over the past 20, 25 years. So where we are on this sine wave will definitely dictate what you should be doing in the marketplace at any given point in time. And oh, by the way, we are in a growth phase. Woohoo! So ironically enough, through this part of the phase, the powers that be are trying to slow things down. And they're trying to slow spending, right? They're trying to contract things, kind of squeeze us. So the economy has contracted. And actually, you could even use the bond chart here as a good example. So economy has contracted. They've sort of stopped the hyperinflation, which was causing bond prices to collapse and interest rates to go up. And you can see the market is trying desperately to turn the corner here and turn back up. Has this gone maybe a little too far, a little too fast? I'm thinking, yeah. But you can see when the Fed is sort of like, oh, we better start cutting rates because things are slowing down in the economy. They get on this path, and really, this is sort of like think of this part of the path, right? These green arrows where we are right now, is the Fed actually is worried about growth, and they'd like to encourage growth. They'd like to encourage the public to go out and spend money. They'd like to encourage us to go out and start new businesses, encourage us to hire new employees and all that kind of fun stuff. And in a weird sort of way, it's quite stunning if you take this image and you overlay it with the ultimate venture cap story of the past 10, 15 years, I think that the correlation is absolutely stunning. So if you take that last image that I showed you and you overlay it with this image, you can actually start to you can start to go, okay, this is actually, this whole capitalism game is starting to make sense. So if we think there is October, November 2020, and the Bitcoin market starting to come to life. And then we go back to our interest rate picture. And you see October, November 2020, the market's starting to come to life. I mean, it's remarkable how cliche this really is. I think I actually first got involved in crypto in this window. But this is interesting. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, in this space, they kind of sort of came online, if you will. You know, most of you, Chris, for example, he's in his 20s. So, you know, back here, he was basically a teenager, maybe even a tweenager. And he probably wasn't thinking too much about the markets. Were you thinking a lot about the markets in like 2010, Chris? Oh, I'm going to call on you again. Maybe yes, maybe no. So I would imagine, do you want to answer that?
No, I was not in the markets at that time. As a matter of fact, I'm not in my 20s either. So there's that.
Oh, okay. But okay, so he's a little bit older, and even then, he wasn't really that into crypto. I would imagine a lot of you probably weren't back here. And, you know, Julian and I first got the TRI started through this part of the market cycle. So this was most people that are new to investing right now, they only think about this. And they kind of think that this, because it went on so long, and this, of course, is short-term interest rates. Short-term interest rates are low here. And they were, and then we went through the stupid sickness, which was kind of it's a beautiful analogy of the Jupiter-Saturn cross. It turns out that we had like 6 different celestial events that all happened in this window. And our society was going to be materially changed from one side of it to the other. And I think that's exactly what has happened. But unfortunately, a lot of people that are participating in the market, they can't see beyond this. And believe it or not, there was centuries, maybe even millennia of trading data before this. But what's fascinating, I even put this out on social media recently, especially when you listen to like people who have just now sort of hit their adult years. And for some reason, you know, there's one, you know, Chinese real estate. We want to get into that conversation. It's probably going to alienate a bunch of people when I go off on the rant about the absolute train wreck of my society right now. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are in the Canadian real estate market that they just got started in the market through this. And they think that this is the way that actually society operates. And this is normal. And where we are here is abnormal. And I would actually argue that they are very, very mistaken. And of course, that's exactly what the public is supposed to be. The public is always wrong. I mean, how many people in the public can actually do this job of it being an actual full-time trader and make money from trading, especially if you take fucking like Gucci sweater wearer courses? You're going to get your head handed to you. So I actually spent a lot of time this past week talking to the audience, the TRI audience, that are we doing, actually, I did it on a different chart too, isn't it? Because I tried doing this before and it didn't work. Over here. Here we go. Are we actually doing, are we in an abnormal market state? And keep in mind, this is a very long-term chart. This is 1980s, right? 1981, 82. are we actually abnormally high here with interest rates, or was this abnormally low? And I would actually make the argument that this is abnormally low, not abnormally high. And what a fantastic lesson on those goddamn Jupiter Saturn crosses, right? That was a Jupiter Saturn cross right there. This was a Jupiter Saturn cross right there, the midpoint. And this is a Jupiter Saturn cross right there. Can you see? Boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's something else. So ironically enough, you should be able to set your watch to the fact that this was the .com peak. This was the 1980 fear cycle peak. And this was the 2021 fear cycle peak. So it went like fear, greed, fear, greed. That's what's coming up next, folks. And it should kick in about 20, I think it's 2040, somewhere in there is the next Jupiter Saturn cross, something like that. And then, interestingly enough, because the 2000 pivot was basically that .com boom, top of the market, all that kind of fun stuff, like, do yourself a favor and pull up, if you want, what did Jupiter Saturn look like through this? And what did Jupiter and Saturn look like through this? If you really want to learn how this crap works, do yourself a favor and just pull up a celestial study and go and see what the heck Jupiter and Saturn were doing through these event windows. And you'll understand why someone like JP Morgan, I don't know, is JP Morgan a guy it's probably worth listening to? Says millionaires laugh at astrology and astronomy. Billionaires respect it. Now, of course, was back in 100 and some odd years ago. So I suppose add a zero. Zach and I had a great conversation about this yesterday. You want to see a really cool image, speaking of Zach, and actually not a bad opportunity. What is the public really worried about right now? And I actually get the impression, talking to a lot of people, that the public is worried about prices crashing. So do you think if the public is worried about prices crashing, that prices will crash? Actually, it's a good opportunity for you to interact with me here. If you think that the public is worried about the market crashing, do you think that the market will crash? Who can help me with that? Lesson number 1 for this Sunday show. If the public thinks that the market's going to crash, do you think that the market's going to crash? So interesting. Nah, probably not. Could crash to the moon. Very good answer, Eddie. Yep, that's right, KL. I mean, what's so tragic is all of you got a really, really good lesson in all of this last March. Remember, Gucci sweater wearers. Everybody in crypto thought that this is the public. Remember that that guy who now is taking ownership of the little old lady concept. What a bastard. He was telling you to buy at 70,000 because, hey, you're guaranteed to make money, even though everything on the chart said, leave this damn thing alone. So we've kind of made a funny meme about this is when that person says this time it's different, then you better get the phone. So here's an interesting image for you to ponder. Prices of everything, of course, in our society have all gone crazy, but are prices really high? And this is what's scary, because I try to convey this to the public, but the public just won't get it. And they fight tooth and nail over this. I even, for empathy's sake, I even retweeted this Lynn Alden's tweet just so you have somebody that you can actually believe rather than just listening to the Beamish, because this person, of course, seems to be very well respected on social media and stuff. And, I hate to say it, but I don't see any reason why this cycle isn't going to look anything different than the previous great reset cycle, which was the 1940s. And unfortunately, through that, you can see there were three very distinctive inflationary push phases. And the worst part about it is what we just got through this first one. And we got a big, ugly one coming down the pike here. And what's fascinating too is, you hear the public clamoring about things like inflation. And then at the same time too, you hear them clamoring about recession. I actually think what has to happen here, which really sucks horse, is I think the United States of America, being the world economic engine, I don't think that they're going to have a recession at all. I don't think it's even the slightest bit of concern. But I definitely could see a place like China. Woo boy, I could see China go into really, really bad shape here. What do you think the prospects of typical Joe Sixpack Russian citizen? What do you think their life is like right now? You think they're having a pretty good time? Ugh. How about Australia? I warned everybody, and this, of course, is our core concept of our educational program, that as of 2017, 2018, that was the particular cycle's peak. And you want to stay the hell away from the commodity countries and the commodity currencies for literally the next 25, 30 years. So I don't actually think that this recession is going to even be really that bad in the United States. I think it'll be a pullback, right? But unfortunately, I think what ends up happening, of course, is that I could very easily see like something like China actually blow up. I could actually see a revolution there. I could even see, for lack of a better term, a big old shoot 'em up over there in Asia. 1950, of course, was the Korean War. You see how hot the situation is there. And what was interesting, their conversation about this was, ironically enough, they had to actually institute price controls here because the situation got absolutely out of hand, of course, through the Second World War. I don't know whether we're going to have forced price controls, but I could see that if China actually does take a swing at Taiwan or something, that sinks us into some sort of massive global conflict. Of course, I think half the reason why the United States economy did as well as it did over the past few years was the sort of artificial economic boost by all this spending for Ukraine, which, that was to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars, money multiplier effect. I think that's probably what kept the United States economic engine humming along here. And interestingly enough, when they released the price controls, price inflation went absolutely insane because there just wasn't any supplies of anything around. And, supply meets demand. If there's no supply and demand strong, you saw what happened with the sickness. That was that whole shit. I even posted in the lounge here today at TRI, could it be conceivable that we might have another one of these manufactured sickness kind of things happen? I think we all know the answer to that, which is a tragic commentary on our modern day society. So whether you look at an image like this or, Brian, he just likes to make mention the fact that, through 1944, the inflationary pressures came down very low. And, that's in essence, I think, basically right in, where is it? I guess it was this one. This one here somewhere. Yeah, this one, right? So I think that is this part right here where, you know what? We've tackled inflation. The problem's over. And now they're going to start turning on the money printers. You see it all around Europe. My country, the central banks are desperate to cut interest rates as fast as possible. They're just going to reignite inflation here. It's coming. And what's so tragic, I mean, I think this is the most tragic part about all of this, is Mr. Powell was specifically asked by the reporters at his last press conference, well, you seem to be very optimistic about the economy, but when you talk to Joe Sixpack with the insane increases in prices, they're not so optimistic about the economy. So, why is it that you have such a different picture of the economy versus Joe Sixpack? And what is Joe Sixpack supposed to do in this kind of environment? When are prices going to come back down so they can actually live half decent lives again? And his response, very candidly, was prices are not going to come back down. Get used to it, you suckers. You are the bank's bitches. That's just the way life is. That was his candid response. And his response, to, well, what's the public supposed to do? His response was, the public is now supposed to start demanding higher wages to offset the higher prices that will never come back down. Get used to it, suckers. And if you're in a position where you can't dictate wage increases, well, too bad, motherfucker. Guess you're going to be eating dirt for dinner. I mean, that's the brutal reality. I don't mean to be rude, but if anything, it would be far better of these people to speak the truth to you rather than this bullshit. Well, we have a dual mandate of strong employment and maintaining price controls or price whatever the fuck it is they say their mandate is, which is total bullshit. And that mandate, because it's sort of like both sides of the equation, that gives them carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want. And if they want to hyperinflate the money supply, well, they just simply say, well, the economy's weak, a dual mandate employment, right? And if, of course, they've hyperinflated the money supply too much and they've ignited hyperinflation and prices have moved up, well, dual mandate, we've got to somehow control inflation, which means that we have to maybe slow down the money printing. But for God's sakes, there's no way we're going to actually take money out of the system. Price stability, yeah, there you go, Adam, which is a load of horse shit. I mean, how stable have prices been over the past 4 or 5 years? I mean, it's a total con job. Having said that, welcome to humanity. I mean, if anything, this is the one thing I don't like about this species. It seems humanity, its job is to try and fuck each other over as much as possible. And whoever can fuck over the competition and their fellow man as much as possible, they win at the end of the day. My old man, he used to, and I really did not like his economic outlook on the world, and that's probably why I look at the world the way that I did. He would always say, really simply put, you want to know what the golden rule is? The golden rule, and maybe write this down, as this is a brutal, like, slap in the face reality of how this world really works. The golden rule is, he who has the gold makes the rules. So, and then, through sort of like latter part of the 20th century, when the economy was booming there, they try and convince everybody to forget about all that talk about gold and hard money and, oh, price inflation is not a problem. Don't worry about it. And we've got your back and all that. And they lull the public into this false sense of security that actually we're all out to make this world a better place. Yeah, right. So half of my job is to try and tell you the truth. That's what my gift, when I stand in front of God, when my time is done, I will say, look at God, I tried as best as I could to try and help humanity out, to just try and understand what the real picture is. And don't, and try and understand that your human emotions don't serve you well when it comes to risking your hard-earned money in the marketplace. You have to take your emotions out of the game, and you have to realize where we are in these cycles, because everything moves in cycles. The interesting thing here, though, is that we are actually in the part of the cycle where I need to get this message out to as many people as possible. And actually, I had an interesting conversation with our marketing team earlier, and our sort of marketing guru said, it's super important that what does he say? He suggests that we sell regret. And anybody who's watching this, of course, we've got people watching this. We probably have probably most of the people who are watching this video are actually the OGs who actually know what they're doing and have taken the education program. But if you haven't, and if you have friends that really would like to learn how to make money in the marketplace on a regular basis, see their net worth go up and don't have to punch a clock, for the rest of their lives, break the model, right? He suggests here we say, and this is what I told him. I said, look, at my pitch is time is running out. This bull is coming. And the irony of it all is that we know what Bitcoin's going to do here. I mean, I've been playing this game long enough with all of you. I've been doing these videos for like 10 years straight. There's nothing new here, whether you look at it from this perspective, winter, spring, summer, and fall, or you look at it from this perspective, where are we on the economic cycle and the economic engine and short-term interest rates and inflationary pressures? It's basically the same conversation. But the point is, it's happening now. We have just made the transition from spring into summer. I spent all last year, 2023, barking at all of you, get your shit together, get your plan together, get your, everything together, get it together, get your act together. Well, here we go. We're now into summer. And this is, whether you trade Bitcoin or not, I personally am not the biggest fan of buying Bitcoins here at 70 grand a piece. That does seem awfully expensive to me. But like what I think the way that the public is going to play Bitcoin here, this particular cycle, of course, is through all these darn ETFs, right? And good old Mr. Fink has got his particular ETF. Where do I have it on here? Somewhere on here. Actually, I did a whole write-up on it through the weekend. What did I do in here? IBIT. And actually, I think it's a fund, believe it or not. All right. Well, I did a bunch of write-ups here. I guess never know which darn page I'm on. I've got these on my laptop and my big computer, and I thought I saved it here, but I don't see it here. Anyway, let's see. I thought maybe I even put it out in the member lounge. But the point here is just that look at it's happening now. And if you don't know what you're doing, we're into the window where this darn thing is going bull, right? This is the next year. This is the window where we're going to start to see brand new Do Kwons made, brand new SBFs. Of course, everybody remembers SBF. Brand new. Who's the Celsius guy? Does anybody remember what the Celsius guy name is? I've completely forgotten his name. Same thing. I mean, we're in that part of the cycle. In fact, here's the image that I was sharing on the weekend. And, if I was ever going to write a course on trading, holy crap. I mean, this has got everything about it, whether it be W's in relative performance, W's in volume momentum, W's in price momentum, W's in price itself. Nice juicy upside targets. I think this is basically how the public is going to play this market. And what's actually fascinating about this image is, again, I mean, everything that we teach in the education program is all over this image, but this is actually a really cool image. If you understand gaps and gap theory, this was actually a pretty significant event, and it actually happened exactly when it was supposed to happen. So, like I said, it's actually quite remarkable how cliche this whole Bitcoin story is with the sort of seasonal effects. I think that's actually what's called a breakaway gap. And if you've worked with me over the years and you understand gap theory, then you know what comes next. I'm not going to tell you. If you do want to know, well, get your butt in the TRI education program. So then we should get something like that. And then that should actually lay the groundwork for something like that down the road. So that's actually what I'm thinking as we go forward here, folks. And I also do like off of there to there, chaos theory up top. And we usually, when these markets go, ironically enough, usually they go up to crazy ass levels like 8.77s, which is all the way up there. So we might find, I mean, I don't know whether that's realistic or not. It might just be this 877 in here. But you can see, I mean, the breakout here was $40, and that's like 70, grand Bitcoin. I definitely have a near-term objective here up in this 80 to 90. And my hunch here, and this is what usually happens, is the big fat round number of $100 is probably going to be a huge magnet. So maybe we get some sort of blow off top that does something like that. You look back over time and you go, yep, well, maybe we do something like that and like that. I could easily see something like that. So we are into that phase. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're kind of like, well, yeah, I'm interested. Give me a hot tip. Tell me what to buy. Don't do that shit. That's what Gucci sweater wearers do. You're going to just get yourself into trouble. Learn how to manage money like a professional. That's the whole point of our education program. Adam, you over there on YouTube, people watching, did TRI teach you how to manage money like a professional? Nure's been working with me for years. Nure, did TRI teach you how to behave like a professional? Please help us out here. And actually, Jim and Liz, they just started on this adventure less than a year ago. But Jim and Liz, do you see the difference between what normally people think in the marketplace and the way that I want you to think and act in the marketplace like a professional? There you go. We're getting, Adam says 100. All right. Crypto M says yes. Gog says yes. Nore says yes, sir. 100%. I don't know, Chris, you can verbally confirm to these people. Did TRI through our education program, did it help you understand how to act like a professional in the marketplace?
Absolutely did. Yes, it did.
That's what I'm here to do, people. That's my gift to you. Look at that. Somebody says, definitely best program, even the free part. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't give you a better sales pitch, but what I really liked was the marketing team here said, this was my pitch. My pitch was, where are we here? My pitch is time is running out to get your plan together for this coming crypto bull. It's here. It's now. It's happening. And if you get your butt into the program, we can get you schooled up by say March, which means, I do think that there's going to be a little bit of a sort of a hangover following the inauguration. I wouldn't be surprised, like something like this little guy here. I wouldn't be surprised if we come up into this area here. You know how much I love my 2.618s and good old Foggenbaums and things like 1.618 chaos theory and alt AB equals CDs. I think this is probably a pretty significant resistance zone in the near term. So I wouldn't be surprised into the new year. We're probably bumping along like that. But I think probably more importantly, and where fortunes I think are actually made in this space, is actually all the little fun little ones. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money is made in these things. So like something like Solana, it's impossible to go and buy that there now. Ironically enough, had you bought this particular setup, you can see we're actually hitting move stop to trailing levels. So had you bought this breakout here, you should be sort of locking in profits as we go. And you might even find, I mean, it might spike up into here, into that January inauguration event, and hit the bot target. And if that's the case, ring the register, take profits, whatever. But you might also find that we just sort of flounder around here. That could very easily happen. Ebb and flow. So, if you haven't taken the education program, if you don't know what you're doing in the marketplace, then I think you take this window here, because you can't buy now, right? Cool your jets, get your plan together, and then when the next bot set up, and look how long this took to form. My hunch is that we're probably going to do the same thing, and we'll get ready for the next leg. And this silliness usually has like 3 or 4 legs to go into the peak. All right, we said the peak. And I love this study. This study is just, I mean, God, this was an absolute gift. And this is the power of TRI. This is 1 + 1 = 3. So 2 site members, I don't even think they even know each other. But we all sort of work together to try and, 1 + 1 = 3. One guy, I think his name's Andrew, but neck of a pencil is what he likes to go by in his social media land. Ben Kovchak, you remember good old Ben and I used to do those crypto shows together. We tried to get it going, but turns out he has a newborn at home. And the wife wasn't impressed with him going, hey, I'm going to start doing these crypto shows again. And I'm going to check out for a few hours every Wednesday night. And the wife's like, I don't think so. So we should probably get that Wednesday show going again. I'm a little bit leery about, I'm just going to say I'm very trepidation. I'm sure there's a word there about getting those shows going again, though. But if anything, special treat, our buddy over there at Coinigy, unfortunately, he was let go by the people at Coinigy, but he landed on his feet at TradingView, this place. So I'm super, super proud of Joe, and he's one of the nicest people that you'll meet. If I'm ever in the Portland area, I definitely need to take him out for dinner. I think I'm actually doing another road trip down the west coast of North America again this February. And FYI, God, I'm throwing a million different thoughts at you. I'm sorry. But FYI, I think we are officially going to do our next TRI meetup in the Greek Isles. And we're all going to unanimously, all at the exact same time, descend on Leandros's resort in the Greek Isles. We won't give you the name. Come on to TRI, and maybe we'll share the name and location and all that kind of stuff internally on the site next October into the cycle peak. And actually, what I'm hoping for then, you want to see a crazy ass image? I mean, I don't know whether we're going to see it on Bitcoin, it going absolutely insane. I believe it or not, I could actually see 200,000-300,000 US on Bitcoin down in the US. But what do you think that's going to do to Bitcoin in China? Oh Lord, you want to see a crazy ass chart? BTC CAD. Look at these. I mean, because keep in mind the Chinese currency looks really, really bad here. So if I'm going to be buying that house for Liam, I have to do it in BC here, of course, because he has all his medical plans and stuff here. So look at, I mean, the Chinese currency, it's already 125,000. That's crazy, eh? And if we do all those same studies, just do a really simple chaos theory, if we do actually face rip here, then that means, 4.669s. Look at that. That's 200,000 right there. And if we get the absolute insane blow off top and we go up to 877s, that's 340 Gs. So 2.5 Bitcoins at 340 G's, I think we'll be able to go and buy Liam's house. So that was the whole point of this exercise to begin with. So Lily and I have to get back sort of living like a family again. Anyway, so I mean, you can see the situation in China. Big bull. I do think though, it kind of feels like, and you can see it in China here as well. I think maybe we kind of gone a little too far, a little too fast here. I wouldn't even be surprised if we actually here, and actually, interestingly enough, if you're in China, and God, it's incredible how corrupt these governments and government agencies are these days. The statistics keepers in China officially announced that they mysteriously found 1 full percentage growth in Canada's GDP over the past year. Now, how the fuck do you miss 1 full percent growth in your economy? it's stunning how corrupt these agencies are. Of course, I don't think that was a mistake. I think that was intentional because, of course, these guys manipulate the markets to their own ends. And, we have been talking about the Chinese currency, or Chinese currency, I should say, falling off a cliff. And oh my God, they better do something to stop the fucking bloodshed. And I know, let's go and mysteriously find 1 full percent growth out of China so that, maybe the Bank of Canada doesn't freak out and slash interest rates even more and drive the currency even lower. Absolutely baffling. Absolutely. I mean, it's stunning how corrupt our society is. You can't trust anything anybody says. And it used to be when I was growing up, especially following the Second World War, these Westerners, of course, I suppose following Bretton Woods, the big con job there. But we had sort of an anyway, just a faith in the government data that was actually being produced. You can't have any faith in any of this. It's all a con job. So sad. Anyway, so you can see the chart, and actually just off of this W here, this probably gives us, oh, look at that. What a coincidence. So I wonder, 2.618, interesting how we had to come back against that level. We blew through it. We came back against it. And actually, we even had this debate at TRI in the lounge here earlier this morning. Is it realistic for us to actually lose this level here again? Or do we accept and we just keep heading higher? What's interesting is if we go back and look at like the previous cycles back in the US dollar, and I think it's similar. Notice when we broke out, you can see here, and I think this is kind of where we are right now in these cycles. Notice spring to summer, and notice the breakout. Then notice the back and forth, humming and hawing, humming and hawing. I think this is what we have ahead of us over the next few months as we got to work our way through that inauguration event. I hate to say it. I mean, I'm very fearful. If there ever was a time to be fearful for your life, Mr. Trump, I would definitely say, especially with all of these over-the-top positions that he's threatening, JF is RFK, right? That's what that guy's name is. I think it's RFK. He's going to try and topple the pharmaceutical industry. You notice mysteriously, and I thought it was interesting that RJ Talks guy had mentioned the fact that, oh, mysteriously now the pharmaceutical industry has decided to put out key reports showing the cause for autism in our society. Really? So they knew all this stuff for the past like 10, 15 years. But now mysteriously, as somebody has been appointed to, I'm going to shake these motherfuckers up and we're going to get the truth out of them. All of a sudden, mysteriously, out come these reports actually detailing what the cause of, keep in mind, my son is basically one of these victims of what these fucking pharmaceutical cocksuckers have done to us here over the past 20 years. All of a sudden, mysteriously, it turns out that the cause of autism is air pollution, which, of course, is going to be extremely hard to refute because this was all done by, oh, look at all these studied panels and all these. These are all the experts. How dare you question the experts? Yeah. Like I said, what a shitty society we live in here, eh? You can't trust anything, anywhere. Pathetic. So, not your keys, not your coins. What a great analogy. What a great time for something like Bitcoin to be on this scene where basically this is your look at, I don't trust anything. I don't trust you, government, at all. This is the fear cycle apex, complete lack of trust in the government. It's remarkable how all this shit all comes together. So, anyway, point of the matter here is I could very easily see sort of a window that we have to go through that kind of looks like this right here now. So like I said earlier, don't, for God's sakes, don't chase. Just don't do it. You're going to get yourself into trouble if you get too emotional about any of this. And if anything, if we do get some sort of pullbacks here in the short term, right? If we fast forward today, is this basically setting up a similar situation where we have this trading range and any kind of pullback into support here would represent a really good buying opportunity? I'm kind of thinking that that's the case. The only problem is I don't think the pullback's going to be too deep. In fact, if we just use this as an example, and obviously history doesn't repeat itself. It rhymes, but it doesn't usually repeat. But if we go boo to boo, and then we go boo to boo, oh, look at that, 61.8, nice dip into there. But you don't really get much more than that. So I don't know. I mean, this was interesting. This was the actual happening event. I thought that we needed a big dip like this. But the problem there, of course, is, as we've highlighted through that whole correction window that's here, Mr. Fink, of course, floated his ETF here, right? And that's this conversation. I want my ETF. And he floats his ETF here, and then we get the correction following the halving event. And this thing just doesn't really do anything. It comes down to about 50% of that range, that low there. But there was no way in hell Mr. Fink was going to let this thing go down here. And so on that dip, he would just give instruction to everybody, buy the fuck out of this thing and bid it back up. So what does that mean in the short term? I guess what I'm thinking here is if you do happen to get a pullback into this low 61.8, then I think that this actually becomes your buy window over the next, let's say, I don't know, what is it? It's November, end of November, December, January, over the next 2 or 3 months, let's say, right? This is into the spring. I don't think it goes that long. I think if anything, this probably has, there's the inauguration. So it probably does something like this. I could very easily see something along those lines. So, and the public is going to come in here. They're going to be most bullish up top here. You can already start to see it. If you go on YouTube, it's almost laughable. Is Bitcoin going to $1 million? You can already start to see the talk. It's already coming in. Which means to me, God, for God's sakes, don't get sucked into chasing up here. You're going to get your head handed to you. So that's sort of what I've been thinking. And I think that aligns with previous cycles. That, once we make this transition from spring into summer, there usually needs to be a bit of a consolidation. I think this one actually was the best one, because then I actually think that this is very similar to what cycle we're in now. And believe it or not, I actually think that this kind of price performance is our future. Keep in mind, Mr. Trump coming into power, two things. Number one, he's all about cutting taxes. I don't know whether there's a hell of a lot more room to cut taxes, unless you can somehow get the United States government to stop spending as much money as they are. And that usually is in the form of, spending programs. What we might find, and this might be an interesting angle, and why the market actually does something like this, is I think you could actually see those tax cuts be rammed through. Keep in mind, the Republicans now control both the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. So I think, like last term, the House, was controlled by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to a certain degree. And so as a result, they could do things like impeachment, and just the government doesn't do anything, nothing gets done. This go round, I think you're going to hear a lot less talk about impeachments. Interestingly enough, from Mr. Trump, you see not so much abrasive attitude, almost like, well, this is my last 4 years. This is my last shot to do this. So instead of just, being a bully and nothing really gets done, and this is directly quoting other social media people who have said this, they think that instead of him being a bully this go round, he's like, okay, look, we just got to get shit done. So I'm not going to be as abrasive, but we definitely have an agenda. What I started off this conversation with is I'm very fearful for Mr. Trump's life. They've already tried to murder him 3 fucking times. You don't think they're going to try and do it again? I mean, let that sink in, people. They have tried to murder him 3 times. 2 of them kind of were like non-events. One of them, they almost got him. Do you think they're not going to try and murder him again? Do you think China has any economic incentive to make sure, somebody there posting great DOGEUSDT talking there about tariffs? Do you think that China has any incentive to try and get Mr. Trump out before he rams through these tariffs? And frankly speaking, I actually really like the idea of tariffs. It's going to absolutely cripple the world economy. China's toast. I mean, their whole plan was put the United States oil industry out of business. Like you see what they did to my country and the stupid idiot running my country. He wants to, did you see this bastard actually funded $9 million of taxpayers' money to have us eat bugs and actually have a factory up and running to get us to eat bugs, that cocksucker. So these people are evil. And ironically enough, the pet food industry in my country is like, well, thank you very much. You just built this awesome factory and all of this infrastructure. Now the pets and the pet food industry were made in the shade. Thank you very much, sir. Because there's not a single fucking human in this country that'll touch something that's made of bugs. So anyway, the point being, I think we all, especially if we like watching the Money Masters videos, I think we all, fingers crossed, just pray to God this Trump guy doesn't get whacked here in the next. His first 100 days of office are the most critical time. And unfortunately, because he wants to put in all of these people that are going to be incredibly sort of like kill the deep state kind of attitude, the deep state is going to fight this tooth and nail. So my hunch here, ironically enough, is what you're seeing right now in the market is the calm before the storm. And has anybody ever heard the expression? And let's see, actually, you people over on YouTube, let's see if you can answer this question. If you want to take the market down, what do you do first? Very good, Mr. Glass Insights. I would expect no less from a person like you. That's right, Nori. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you will understand what's actually going on here in the broader stock market. You know, people are all getting all excited because they're taking the market up right now. But this worries me immensely. I mean, we all know markets don't move in straight line forever. We also know that technically the deep state and everybody who's in power right now, they basically have a window here, and that window closes right there. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised, like, 2.618. I wouldn't be surprised that we see corn and all that kind of stuff, speculative assets in our society. You look at the NASDAQ, you look at the Dow. I would not be surprised to see them push their way higher here. And they're going to blame it on, well, look how strong the economy is and all that kind of fun stuff. But what I think they're doing here is if you want to take the market down, first you take it up. So I could very easily see something like, man, who knows what's going to happen. I know I always suggest to people, don't get into the business of predicting the future, because whatever the future actually is, it's going to be more outlandish, more crazy than anything we could ever predict. But let's just, for hypothetical sake, we run up here to 100 and 105, 110. We hit this 2.618 into this event here. I could very easily, as we said, I could and you know what really sucks? This is what really sucks. The Simpsons have been very, very good at predicting the future. And one of the predictions that they had in their future talk, of course, was Mr. Trump being elected. And then also things like, remember his famous ride down the escalator and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's shocking how accurate this damn show is with some of their predictions. But unfortunately, there was one prediction about Mr. Trump that it's a little bit sad, right? And this is what bothers me immensely. And really, fucking Mr. Trump, he should not go outside. He should not eat anything that's given to him. The damn Russians, they love to poison people. Anyway, I can't find it. But anyway, maybe they actually did have an image of Mr. Trump in a coffin here. Oh boy, don't like that. So that bothers me immensely. Let's hope maybe he dies in his old age, near the end of his term. We, as if you have any hope of sort of us not being controlled by the deep state, you hope to God this guy lives. But anyway, that's here nor there. So what I wouldn't be surprised is, kind of what I showed you there with the 61.8, that previous move. I would not be surprised, like I said, do yourself a favor and go on YouTube and type in like Bitcoin and shit and crypto, and you can see how they're all coming. They're going crazy on crypto and stuff. $1 million next stop, right? So I like the idea that, the public is being suckered in to come in and FOMO and buy. But I do think that probably around this event, maybe into the first quarter, we actually see that pullback, and in that pullback against these old highs and into 61.8s, that kind of thing. Remember, I showed you that previous chart. That I think that's your buying window if you do want to buy Bitcoin, if you do want to buy crypto. Let's move on here from Bitcoin. I think I've talked that into the ground. What I found interesting about the market here is I have suggested to the community that this sure feels like massive billiard ball fractal here, where we go up, then we come back down. Notice, I think that's this part right here, what we're doing. I think that there's one more push up into this level. And then we've got a big push down. And I think this is sort of the post inauguration pullback in the market. Something like that. Maybe it comes a little bit later, right? Because that's just the end of the year. I think this could also all be pushed out about a month or so. So something like over there. I could see something along those lines, out into the new year as we get closer and closer to the inauguration. But I could very easily see, and this is kind of messy, sorry. But I could very easily see, I was looking at this chart over the weekend and I kind of like this. So I think that this high that we just had here corresponds with this high that we just had there. And this pullback here corresponds with that pullback there, which means that this actually should go to new highs here as we head up into there. So I do think that that's sort of what's going to happen here in our near term. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. Is there actually a trade here? Well, if you're a lower time frame participant, do we have a bot setups potentially forming here? Could you actually hunt a setup to try and sneak your way in to play this? I think so. So we have had at least 33%. I don't know where the bottom is here. It is interesting that was the pullback low there. And notice here we are here. Could we have some sort of consolidation that gets you to hunt some sort of long in here to play that move up? Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it wouldn't be outlandish. It would be interesting to see how this, if this happens to set up levels against that. If we just go boobity boo, and then where's the drawing tool? It's around here somewhere. Oh, weird. Oh, maybe I have to click on it. Okay, where is it? It's always a hunting game for me and my terrible eyesight. I don't see it. That's stupid. Oh, there it is. It's right in the middle. What a doofus. All right. Boom. All right. Oh, and it's backwards, of course. So if I was inclined to try and play this, one low, rally against the low, two lows. Well, if we start getting half decent formation down here, I might give me an opportunity to front run the bot. And interesting, coming back up against this high, this actually interesting level. That would basically be if we rallied up here and then stalled, move stop to scratch is hit, and you just walk away at scratch if that happens to be a big fractal like that. I could see that. It wouldn't surprise me. So if you're looking for something to do here on Ethereum, I don't really think that there's a trade here on the daily charts. It's not very good trade location. As you can see, ironically enough, from the daily perspective, I'm still working this short, and I still think that this short is working. I don't see any reason to touch that. But, if you're bored and you're looking for something to do, I think it probably something like maybe even like an hourly basis kind of idea. So if we go, I don't really like talking hourly charts with this kind of audience because the whole picture could change here by the time I get back from Liam tonight. But if I was hunting for trade ideas, A to B, that's pretty one directional move. Boom, boom. You can see C to D, we did that. So project that off of these lows. Something along those lines, whatever that low is, you can fine tune that. Interesting how we have this down move. I don't know what that is. Is that a trend line or is that just an ABCD? I don't know. But it looks like your trend line is right here. So boom, boom. Aha, look at that. So interestingly enough, I think you can actually start to see a potential trade developing here. I don't know where the hell the lowest low is. Looks like it's this low, eh? So, this kind of makes sense. One low, you want to use that whole formation as your low. That's fine. Two lows, three lows. We've broken the downtrend line. Can I get a W on the other side of the downtrend line? I don't really mind, actually, if you told me. So, well, Brian, I kind of like what I'm seeing. I mean, it might be interesting to pull up the indicators and see whether they're starting to firm up. They haven't yet. This low here broke these lows, so it looks like a bit of a divergence. Doesn't look like momentum's really excited here yet at all, so I don't think there's a huge hurry here. But I could see something. I mean, it's a sloppy, ugly, what we used to call those, dirty bottom down there, right? Down, up, down, breakout. I like this test. That's a nice test and reversal. You can almost look at this as like Eve, Adam. All this, of course, is predicated on we got to move up through these highs here. And ideally, you'd love to pull up your momentum indicators and see that they're all turning up on that event. So keep your eyes peeled. Yeah, might develop. And considering number one, I don't think we're anywhere near the inauguration just yet. So I don't think there's any sort of you should be looking for a top today. I think they're still taking this market higher. The issue here is, I think sadly, Ethereum is kind of like, I think it's like yesterday's darling, which of course is going to make Mr. Vitalik all angry. Who's really in this sort of the DeFi space? Well, of course, it's this damn Solana. And as I showed you earlier, I think this Solana actually does have a bullish setup already working. And it actually fired right here, right? You should be long the Solana from 159-ish, somewhere in that area. And I like that this trade is fully underway. And I would not be surprised that this is like an alt ABCD. Notice there's a 1688 right up there at a 127. I could also see that I suppose we could also go boom, boom. Boom. Hello. Confluence. Of course, we always like Confluence. So, what's that? That's $375. And, frankly speaking, if I want to go and like have fun speculating in the marketplace, I don't even look at Ethereum. I go over here. Uh-oh, there's one. And, the warning sign that we're probably near the end of this bull run, folks, is when you start seeing this space start to come to life. Like, why the hell is this thing jumping the way that it is? And this is nothing in comparison to what these damn things can do. Why is GameStop coming to life? Ooh, that's interesting. So this actually, I think, is a trade. Look at that beautiful buy right in there. In fact, actually, I think I got to get my sell half on a double order working. Look at that guy. I'm long from 35, and we're coming now into 8. So I should be selling halves on doubles here. Only problem is I only bought $10 worth because I was running out of dry powder there at the end of the summer. But wow, what a beautiful buy. I mean, Jim and Liz, when you're watching and, you're like, well, what is it this guy's actually trying to teach me to recognize? This is what I'm trying to teach you to learn, right? You can't remember. I came and visited you right through here. You cannot buy through this kind of market. And of course, when you see the shit coins doing this, this is your warning that there's trouble. And sure enough, boom, that's what trouble looks like. It did it again. Remember, we look for that seasonal bottom around May, June, right? We talk about kids parking themselves into mom's basement and getting ready for the summer crypto silly season. Well, there it was. But when these shit coins start doing this stuff, that's your sign. Who can help me finish this sentence? Of course, you've never heard it before. Write it down. The something always rises something. How does that saying go? The something always rises something. And how many people can I get to swear on the YouTube channel all at once? Demonetized. Ooh, hello, Trader Steffi. Do I know you, Trader Steffi? You look like you're a new person. But anyway, you got it right. So way to go. You must have been around here a while. Oh, damn it. Did the time? Oh, Jesus. This time always goes so damn fast. So this stuff is starting to rise. Be careful. This, if anything, is a bad sign. The crap always rises last. And that's got to be Liz. She's such a sweetheart. She wouldn't want to swear. She's a good California state employee. What I found interesting, I was a little surprised at this one. Ethereum on Solana. When the fuck did I buy this? But you tell me. Does that look like that thing's about to go crazy? And Liz, am I talking to Liz? Maybe I'm talking to Jim. I don't know. But Liz, can you see the W's? Can you see where you were supposed to be buyers? I mean, look at that crazy ass pop. That's probably where I bought this thing. But look at it go. It's off to the races. So the point being that when this stuff starts all going crazy, and it can go on for, what is it? It's November, and I'm basically suggesting that they got a green light here to fuck with the market until January 20th. That means that this space could go nuts here for the next couple months. Is it November 20th yet? No, it isn't. It's only November 17th. This space could go crazy for the next month or two. And of course, in that time period, a month or now, somebody write this down, please. Somebody on YouTube just acknowledge, yes, Brian, I've written this down. Let's look for Gucci sweater wearers. And actually, I hate to say it, but I think they're already out there on YouTube shilling their courses and stuff. But let's look for Gucci sweater wearers. And let's look for the this time it's different talk somewhere around the second week of January. What do you think, folks? Does that sound like a plan? Can somebody remind me of that? I want to volunteer. It says, yes, I will be the, well, there you go. Talk about that as an endorsement. Thank you very much, Jim and Liz. You are the best teacher. And this is coming from adults. Like, these are grown-ups. And, you know, I think about your poor son every day. Guys, I really do. It breaks my heart to think about what you guys gone through. You know the shit that I live through every single day of my life. So I know your pain. But those are adults. Those are adults that were sent to me by another adult who I think is going to own half of the state of California by the time he's done this adventure. But thank you for that endorsement. I appreciate it. There you go. Great Del Moody has made the call. And I'm going to come back here the middle of January and remind everybody. All right, there you go. Nure, oh, my sweetheart. German bodybuilders. And I expect to see, Nure, you're going to be in Greece next October? Everybody, in fact, Fjord's like, Greece, that's in Europe. I'm there. So, Norway, I fully expect you to be in Greece. And Leandros, you have no choice. You better get those hotel rooms ready to go because we're coming and if I have to swim there, I'm at your hotel next October. Somebody write that down. But we'll be surfing the crypto bull, right? All right. How much time do I have left? Were there any questions on the Q&A? I don't think there were there? Fortunately, I hate when I do it, but I end up crying on these videos and then I'm all verklempt and stuffed up and stuff. Chris, did you say there was or there wasn't? Nope. Well, maybe coming in soon. All right. Well, there you go. Okay, so that means if you guys over there on YouTube have a question, feel free to ask. We got about 10-15 minutes left. I think I've said my piece with regard to the broader market. You know, pay yourself when you are afforded the opportunity. Sorry. You know, what does that look like? Actually, you know what I find really weird is I did up, and I think I must have it on my laptop, but I did up a really cool tweet. No, it's in the newsletter and everything. I banged out a huge win here on dog money. And this is actually a really good example of what often happens is I will put out a tweet that this is banging out doubles. It happens to be my level that my next double is. So I ended up going and selling another big whack here. And then what ends up happening is after the fact, people actually turn around and they actually come out and they start blaming me for putting a top in the market. So don't be shocked, folks. I have gone and sold another half on a double. This is actually everything that I'm trying to teach you all how to do. Do you remember? Get your shit together. Conversations last year, 2023, I actually bought this thing at like 7.5 cents down here. Absolute boss trade. That was like a 78.6 off of that range, and I bought right here. Just so proud of myself. So what do? At 14, 15 cents, boom, out goes half. And then what did I do over in Kraken? I actually went and bought it all back right down here. And then boom, it doubles again. So I went and sold another half. And, this. So I've got my bid working to buy the whole damn thing back at 78.6 of this range here. And don't be shocked. It might take into like April, May, after that January peak. I would not be surprised one bit. My hunch is that is some sort of short-term top. We'll see how it goes. But I would not be surprised, and I already have the bid working. I'll go and buy the whole damn thing back right there at that 12 cents. And this is exactly what I do year in, year out, month in, month out, cycle in, cycle out. It's same shit, different pile. Oh, sorry. So I bought a whole bunch of this thing back in this cycle, and I never did sell it because it was over on that ledger. And look at him coming back to life. I mean, it's just one by one by one. They're all popping here. And of course, Cripple got off some nice wins on that one. And actually, I haven't noticed my little porno coins actually started to come back to life. Imagine that, eh? Holy moly. So you know that the silly season is underway when even things like the porno coins start to come back. But I wanted to show you. Yeah, here we are. Cripple. I'm long, and actually I had another order working here to buy some more, but I'm long from down here. Yeah, don't be surprised if you hear at some point today I'll throw an order out to maybe let some of that go. I just moved those coins over from the what's that thing, the ledger. I finally got all that stuff off of the ledger. Same thing on Cripple, or excuse me, on Stellar Lumens. This one actually, I think I don't think I got any more down here, but I was buying down here. I was a little bit slow this particular cycle, I'll admit it. Should have been accumulating on that dump right there, but I was a bit slow. Anyway, you can see what happened. Talk about a catalyst, eh? That damn election. Boom. So we're off to the races, but for God's sakes, don't go and buy that there. What are you, knucklehead? So if you do want to buy, just be patient, disciplined. And if anything, this is what we call a shark setup at TRI, where you're going to hunt previous bullish market structure off 78.6 levels. This is so cliche, it's ridiculous. So don't go and buy there. If you want to buy, throw your bids in down below here and just be patient and disciplined. Okay, so that's just a quick summary of some of the stuff I've been doing here in the marketplace. Let's see what you guys have said over on YouTube. Did we have any questions? Did that person post that question? Survey says no. All right. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait till next week to have that question answered. Actually, what we're gonna do is because Black Friday is coming up, and I wouldn't mind sort of interacting with the public as much as possible and encourage people to learn as much as possible. I think we're going to do all the daily briefs this week public. So, tune in. Anybody who's not a site member, you got a nice special treat here. And maybe it gives you some incentive to consider joining the site, the videos that we do Monday to Friday. While school's in, I don't like to do the video on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays over the past term, because, classes in the level 3 are a good 3-4 hours long. So I get like completely burnt out on Tuesdays, but Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the next couple of weeks, along with the Sunday show, will be public, will be free. So tune in, maybe even suggest to a friend. Well, you may want to go and listen to this guy. He's a breath of fresh air in a Gucci sweater wearer world. I don't know. It's up to you. We'd love to have you part of the community. I think the community offers incredible value, whether it be things like the various different portfolios that we run. And FYI to the people who are asking if the portfolios have been updated, Julian informed the team that yes, indeed, all portfolios have been updated on the site. So you can see any trades that I do. I post every trade that I do in Brian's trades rooms. So you can see all the activity I've been doing here of late, buying and selling. And actually, I've even done a couple of nice wins in the stock market here that I have to write up for my own personal account recently. Was trying to get short. Jesus, we could talk about shorting China to here and Germany and stuff. I know Julian likes the idea of shorting Germany. I think there's a really good short for like the entire world developing. I don't want to short the United States. That's the last market in the world I want to short. If anything in the United States, pullbacks are buying opportunities. And actually, I wanted to show you, I didn't get around to this earlier, but I wanted to show you on Twitter. I put out a tweet that I think actually speaks to the current state of money right now. And unfortunately, I got off on this tangent talking about the inflation spiral that's coming ahead of us. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin runs up to $200,000-$300,000 in anticipation of this inflation spike, right? I think Bitcoin's a fantastic leading indicator. So, it's all good there. Hey, feel free to follow me here over on Twitter if you want, just sort of my personal rants. Of course, I'm a little bit of an oddball weirdo. I would strongly suggest that you follow the TRI Twitter feed. I think it's excellent value. Josh here runs this Twitter feed, and he often retweets a lot of tweets that I put out. But he also does really great, like actual value tweets. Like every single one of you should go and copy this image. It should be in the first page of your journals. Because this is exactly what it is, the life that you are pondering if you actually think that you want to become a trader. You don't realize it, and you actually think that, oh, it's just as easy as just buying, selling, no problem. But actually, this is a very, very difficult job, and the only person who's going to hold you to account is yourself. So you live on this cycle, whether you like it or not. But just to finish that other thought that I had just a second ago, this is a real estate market. And what's fascinating is you can see into that 2007 real estate peak, it was actually the same as a real estate peak that happened in the early 90s. And more importantly, the trough that we just saw through that sickness and all that bullshit and stuff actually brought real estate prices in this particular market right back down to recessionary levels from 1981. Remember, we talked about fear cycle apex, greed cycle apex. Really, I might argue maybe sort of somewhere in between here. And actually, what was really interesting was the U.S. real estate market really got bid up into George Bush Jr.'s tenure, right? That was their real estate peak. But interesting how this particular market, I'm not going to tell you what market it is. That's not overly important here. Just understand, what does a top look like and what does a bottom look like, right? Top of the market, you all know about the great financial crisis, which is just a load of horse shit. It was great financial fuck you by the banks, lending way too much money to way too many people that they should have never done, but there was no political insight or no oversight because the whole fucking system was rigged to screw the public over. The Rothschilds, whole damn thing. What does recession look like, right? This was the last time we had double-digit interest rate, fears and inflation absolutely out of control. And ironically enough, this is actually the price of, like, the sticker price of that real estate. If you just went out and you just, if there was like a sales tag on the door, what is the price of this house? And notice that thing ain't going down at all. It's just going to the moon. And you look at this and you go, how on earth is this actually cheap? Well, the blue line is this asset. If you take the money printing and the dilution of the purchasing power of the currency out of the equation, this is an expensive market. This is a cheap market. If you just go to the public, well, you know what? You don't need to think about the money printing. Just, just have faith and trust in what the government's telling you and what the bankers are telling you. Well, this is all about full employment and maintaining price stability. Oh, fuck you, maintaining price stability. Go suck my what. I mean, this is ridiculous. But at the same time, too, this is our reality. We have no choice. This is real. So in a weird sort of way, I actually think over the next 4 or 5 years, as we work our way into that 2027, 2028 crisis, I actually think this particular real estate market is just going to go sideways because they're going to keep printing money to keep the Fugazi going. And ironically enough, we might even find that prices just stall out here and maybe do one of these kind of things or one of these kind of things. But ironically enough, this market actually is not expensive. It's actually kind of middle of the road, which is so ironic. So, and you can use this argument, whether it's the stock market, you've seen me do charts of stock market, where this stock market is not really that overvalued, right? You've all seen this before. Where are we here? Generational cycle comparison. I think that's it. The stock market right now, you see it booming to new highs. But if you actually take the money printing out of this, we are nowhere near the highs of the late 1990s. We're nowhere near there. And believe it or not, this, I think, is our future. This means that you're going to see stock prices just go absolutely insane here over the next 10, 20 years. Right? And what does that look like? I mean, the irony of it all is that actually this is business as usual, nothing out of the ordinary. So, this happens to be the bond market. This was the NASDAQ. And actually, this isn't exactly the image I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you was, actually, I think it's just this one. Uh-oh. Oh, my camera froze, didn't it? Son of a bitch. Actually, it must be 1 o'clock. Lily's telling me, your time's done here, Brian. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to leave the broadcast at that. So this is basically where we are. I don't see really anything changing here. And if you want a zoomed in look on that, there's another example. We're just humming along here. What does this cycle look like? And the last image that I'm going to show you is, where the heck is it? I thought it was one of these right up here. Isn't that bizarre? No, it's not that one. Well, I guess we're just going to leave it at that. So this is basically what I think our path is here. And that is, I mean, look at these numbers, right? Conservatively, Dow 130,000. Holy crap. So, whether it be, I think we're more like the greatest generation. There's even a better image that I share with everybody. Actually, I think it is the actual chart itself. But it looks like my face is frozen on YouTube, which is kind of tacky. Maybe Chris, can you maybe just get rid of that image? And we'll wind this up here. I don't know where I have it. Is it that one? Maybe it's this one. Hey, there we go. This is the one I was looking for. So what does the future of the stock market look like? Look how highly correlated this is where we are currently, right? The yellow line. And then this shaded one, this is the greatest generation, the following the Second World War. And look how closely we're following along that path. So believe it or not, everybody and their brother is calling for stock market crashes here, which is one reason why I think we absolutely won't crash. And interesting, if we overlay what happened in the 1940s and 1950s and 60s, I think we're basically following this path pretty damn closely. So if you wanted to get sort of a snapshot of where we are and where I think we're headed, I think this is absolutely the best roadmap you could have. So that's the Dow. I'll give this as a link to all of you over there on the YouTube page, and put that in your pipe and smoke it. And let's come back 10 years from now and let's review how closely this was. Because I think, frankly speaking, this is exactly what our future is going to look like. So we sort of grind our way higher here, climbing the wall of worry. Of course, you know what Bitcoin's going to do here over the next year or so. Then as we get closer and closer to that 27, 28 inflation shock, I don't think it's going to be an inflation shock here, or it's not going to be a crash in the US market. I wouldn't be surprised that the banksters and stuff cut rates dramatically in the States. But international countries like the United Kingdom, China, Russia, Canada, oh boy, Germany, this could be an absolute economic meltdown for them. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, you all should be getting ready. And I think I even told you that into this cycle peak, we all want to go and buy our islands. And of course, I'm going to be buying a house for Lily. So I'll have to be able to come back to the mainland here to visit my boy. That's my number one priority. But keep in mind, TRI is very heavily invested in crypto right now. And I want to get more invested on any kind of pullback. So for the time being, pullbacks are buying opportunities. And on that note, have yourselves a great rest of your day. Wish us luck on the road. Wish positive karmic thoughts for Lily, and wish Brian keeps a level head while he's dealing with the insanity of living in China. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins a race. Seriously consider joining our school program if you don't know what you're doing in the market, because it's the only place on the internet that's actually going to teach you how to trade like a boss. Have yourselves a great day. All the best, Tim. Bye for now.